We ready?
Make decisions, girl. That's all I can tell you. Like, I know, okay, nobody's gonna die if you make the wrong.
I'd like to call to order the City Council of the City of Gun Barrel City. Will meet in a regular meeting in City Hall Council Chambers located at 1716 West Main Street, Gun Barrel City, Texas, on Tuesday, October the 22nd, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. If everyone would please stand for the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this night, these citizens, these board members, and all of our city employees and our first responders. Give us wisdom, patience, and clarity as we go about our city's business. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. The pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Rita.
I'd like to establish a quorum. Roll call from my left, please.
Burns here.
Evans here.
Jacobs here.
Person here. Foster here.
We have a quorum. Citizens' comments, communications. Pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.007, members of the public may speak on any topic. Comments are limited to 3 minutes and no action may be taken by the council. Any response from a member of the City Council to non-agenda comments is limited to a statement of specific factual information, recitation of existing policy, or direction to staff for follow-up. These are limited to 3 minutes. Our first citizen's comment comes from Amaris Faith. Amaris.
Thank you again for letting me speak. Well, the past month, Amaris Faith, 155 Pine Bloom. The past month has been a journey. I've met great people and not great people. I've been sunburned, windblown, honked at, and flipped the bird. My faith has been mocked. People have tried to intimidate me, discourage me, shut me down, and shut me up. But here's what I know about where the petition to repeal Animal Control Ordinance O-2024-022 is. We submitted over 300 signatures on October 16th. We're now awaiting the certificate of sufficiency or insufficiency, which should kick off the next phase, and that's for the City Council to either repeal it or to send it to a referendum. That's as I understand the city charter. So let's recap. 1, the ordinance was inherently unjust. It targeted the good pet owners instead of the bad pet owners. 2, the fees amounted to a double tax. Animal control is already funded in the annual budget. 3, it was unfairly proportioned. It exempted over 65 under certain conditions, but not the young family struggling in a recession. Most importantly, it passed without a rigorous vetting in the community. The same energy used to roll out the ordinance should have been used to roll it back. People had a right to know it was suspended the moment the petition was submitted to the city secretary. It was the city's job to get the word out, a no-brainer in the digital age. In a constitutional republic, you see, the government answers to the people. You were elected to represent Gun Barrel City, not California, not Colorado, not Arlington, or Seven Points. The people have a right to information and transparency from their public servants. So when you walk into this chamber to conduct the people's business, I expect open and honest discussion, not just in a heated disagreement. I want to know why you vote the way you do. I want to know what informed your decision, how you see it affecting your constituency in the immediate and the long term. I want to know how you got to yes or no. The city manager has a place in the discussion, but she cannot be the discussion. My expectations going forward are this: give us decisions that are reasonable, enforceable, and penalize the right people. 2, be transparent. Give me data and reasoning I can hang my hat on. And 3, don't take the petition to repeal personally because it isn't. You did something I didn't like, and I told you so. And thanks to everyone who stood up, showed up, and signed up. I think you're awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next citizen's comments come from Carrie Kirksmith. Mr. Kirksmith.
Good evening, Council. Thank you for letting me speak. Our last meeting was pretty disheartening. I watched 3 members of this council that I don't think really checked in with their constituency before they voted. This city council, I don't think anybody's getting paid up there. You need volunteer help. And when you tried to form groups to help advise on, to give preliminary review to charters and things like that, that was not, what I understood is you were not being asked to just turn over the authority to these people that may be on these boards to amend the charters. Ultimately, the decision would come back to council, whatever these people, in your help group may come up with. But you need help. And kicking the can down the road like you've done was not acceptable. I think you don't trust people. It seems to me like you don't have enough faith in your constituents to put them on a board to help them, to help them to help you. What is that? I mean, they trusted you enough to vote for you, I think. Anyway, I hope you can move forward and get into the spirit of trusting your constituency, and more than anything, reaching out to your constituency. And with that, I just hope that you can get some progress done on some of these things that, basically they just keep getting kicked down the road. So that's all I got for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kirksmith. Our next citizens' comments will be Ms. Kate Weller.
Kate Weller, 129 Camino Robles. I'm using this opportunity to really reach out to the citizens of Gun Barrel City. Last night, I was reselected as chair of the Planning and Zoning Commission for my final year of service, so I'm speaking to you all. We have openings on this commission. The qualifications are easy. It is exactly the same as all elected officials and appointees. A commitment to making all decisions based on what is best for all Gun Barrel City residents, remembering that the good of the many outweighs the good of the few or the one. The commission duties are spelled out in the city charter, available on the city's website. It is Article 9. Commissioners see many documents and reports, so a good reading comprehension skill is a must. We rely heavily also on the Comprehensive Plan, Chapter 3, the Land Use Plan, also available on the city's website. There are 7 commissioners total that can be appointed to this commission. Currently, there are 4, the minimum number required to conduct business. Please, if you're interested, apply as soon as possible. The application is on the city's website. When council has several applications, they will conduct interviews and make appointments. Filling this commission is a council priority because city business cannot move forward without it. Have a say in the future of Gun Barrel City. Please apply. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Weller. Our next speaker, Rochelle Hammer.
Thank you. I'm not a public speaker, so just bear with me. So right here, I have a binder. It contains the certificates of the cats that I have either spayed or neutered over the past year. This probably accounts for half of what I've actually done. All but 30 cats I've paid for out of my own pocket. I get calls and text requests constantly to come trap or help with unwanted cats or kittens. I'm not alone. There are a few more out there like me, but unfortunately, there's just not enough of us. We need ordinances like 0-2024-022. We need surrounding cities and counties to adopt similar ordinances until such time the state finally makes it law. What citizens don't understand is the time and money, resources it takes to care for all of these animals, when in reality, if you just spayed and neutered your pets, we wouldn't have a majority of these issues. People close their eyes to the diseases caused by not being vaccinated or spayed or neutered. The health issues of not being spayed, pyometria, is a huge issue for female dogs and cats. It's life-threatening and can cost you, the pet owner, a huge vet bill or your pet's life. Why not be proactive and spay your dog or cat? As far as intact male dogs are concerned, I don't care what any so-called responsible pet owner says. If that dog is outside and smells a female dog in heat, that dog will do whatever it has to get to it. Neuter your dog so there are no oops pregnancies. Not to mention, it's far healthier for your dog in the long run. Yes, there are breeds where vets recommend waiting till the dog is a year or two due to growth plates, etc., but that's on a case-by-case basis. In my neighborhood, I watch female dogs get pregnant over and over. Owners of the dogs struggle to feed not only the dogs, but then the 10 to 15 puppies. Here's a thought. It's far cheaper to do the one-time spaying and then to continuously to feed a mama and her 10 to 15 puppies. This isn't any different than insurance rates going up in areas hit by tornadoes, hurricanes, hail, or bad drivers. Everyone shares in the expense. This animal issue is not your neighbor's issue. It's not my issue. It's everyone's issue to bear the burden and make everyone accountable. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Herron. Moving on. Consent agenda 6A. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted by one motion. There will not be separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately. Consider approving the following reports: September 4th, 2024 special meeting minutes and September 24th, 2024 special and regular meeting minutes, and EDC August financials. Do I have a motion?
I move that we accept the consent agenda as is.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Burns, second.
I have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Moving to vote for my left, please.
Burns, yes.
Evans, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Burson, yes.
Boss, yes.
Consent agenda passes. Moving on, new business. 7A, presentation of quarterly department reports, including the city secretary and our city treasurer. Our sponsor of this item will be our city manager, Dr. Smith.
Council, as we've discussed over the last few months in our one-on-one meetings, we are taking on a new way of presenting department information to council going forward, starting with this October meeting. So each department will be in front of city council quarterly to present what is going on and kind of tell the story from their department. So council has a much more interactive experience with our department heads. Tonight will be our city secretary and our city treasurer. Council will still approve quarterly financial reports as called for in the charter. So in December, you will see a quarterly financial report for October, November, December, along with a presentation from our treasurer. So tonight is the first night we're doing this. It will be our city secretary. Janet is going to present from her chair since she also runs the meeting from over there, but she does have a presentation. And then Mickey Rainey, our city treasurer, will also give a presentation tonight as well on July, August, September. I'm looking for Mickey to nod at me. I believe that's correct. So I will turn it over to Janet.
Okay, I'm the first one to do this, so bear with me. Here is a quick view of board meetings held in the past 3 months. City Council held a total of 9 meetings, 3 each month. Planning and Zoning held 2 meetings. Parks and Rec held a total of 3, and the Board of Adjustments held 1 in August. Just a side note, the economic development was not included in these numbers as the city secretary doesn't create these agendas or the minutes for this board. So these are just my boards. A few accomplishments I thought I'd share with you from the past 3 months include our new agenda software program, which we started in August. Also in August, I submitted the Texas government-required annual cybersecurity awareness training, so the city is compliant through 2025. A total of 21 open records requests were fulfilled, with an 86% ratio of them being fulfilled the same day. And lastly, over the past 3 months, we've released 2 liens totaling over $4,000. One was filed earlier this year and the other from 2010. So that's great news. As most of you know, the 2024 general election takes place next month, November 5th, 2024. Early voting began yesterday, and I've just provided here the closest voting locations to Gun Barrel for both early and election day voting. And other locations can be found on the Henderson County page if you're interested in those. And then we have a couple contracts expiring in the next couple of months. Our trash service agreement, as well as the Henderson County Crimes Against Children Task Force. Both of those in December. So those will be coming up on your November meeting agenda next month. And then, as Amaris Faith mentioned in her citizen comments, on October 16th, a referendum petition for the repeal of ordinance number O-2024-022 was received by staff. This petition relates to animal control, and our city charter lays out a very specific process for petitions. And as of October 16th, when the referendum was filed, this ordinance was automatically suspended. Therefore, we revert back to our old animal control ordinance. And as of this evening, I have completed a certificate of sufficiency. So what that means is that the petitioners committee that collected the signatures did receive the required 200 signatures, and action will be required by the city council at the regular November meeting. Council's options from here would be to either repeal the new ordinance, make changes, perhaps include public input and bring it back to council for adoption, or decide to take it to a vote at the next available election, which would be in May. And then, just to end on a fun note, this year's 2024 Texas Municipal League's annual conference was held in Houston. That was the beginning of this month, and it was an all-girls trip and filled with lots of learning, laughter, and, of course, networking. And that's it. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Thank you, Janet. That was outstanding.
Great job.
Discussion? Questions for staff?
Just one question. How do we access the monthly police report?
Angie, would you like to answer that, or would you like me to?
If council has specific questions about reports, department heads are still submitting those reports monthly to us. I have access to them. I'm happy to answer any questions you have about them. I believe our police department presents in November at the November meeting, so he will do the same. He will come in and really show trends over the last few months and provide those numbers. So, but if council has any questions, I'm happy to provide those answers. Just send me an email.
Thank you.
Y'all ready? This is also my first report, so if everyone could please bear with me. Also, these numbers are not final. I just want to clarify that. This is year end. We hold the year end open so that we can make sure all of last year's expense and revenue is in last year's budget, and we are current with everything going forward. So this report is not final, but it gives an idea of which direction we are heading. And I will give the final report for September when I do my next quarterly reports. So this is a general fund budget summary, and I'm just going to kind of direct you to this area right here. This is our 2023-2024 budget with the revenues totaling $6,022,603. The same with expense. I know I said that wrong. I'm nervous. Of that, we had a fund balance from prior year. A fund balance is our our revenues received that exceeded our expense. So we had a fund balance of $394,000. That amount is up at the very top. We also agreed to move $285,000 out of our capital improvement fund to cover, these expenses were to be covered for one-time expenses. So like police, we bought police vehicles, we upgraded our website, we upgraded a siren, the streets department received equipment, the parks department is receiving things, and so we're kind of still behind on that. That's what these last invoices are that are coming through. I'm totally nervous.
You're doing great.
I'm so sorry. Okay. So, with that being said, the year end, and again, not final, we brought in $5,951,000, $5,951,126 in revenues. Of that, $394,000 was our fund balance. We did not move the capital improvement fund. We are not going to have to do that. Our revenues came in at 99%. Our expense came in at 96%. I know I butchered this, and I apologize. I am just so nervous. Also, I would like to note, our sales and use tax, we budgeted $4.3 million. We were within $9,000 of nailing that right on the dime, so I'm kind of proud of us for that one. Do you have any questions? I know this is I have a lot of numbers, so I'll move to the next. This is our revenue that we received for 2023, 2024. As you can see, 79% is in taxes, which would be sales tax, sales and use tax, which would be sales tax, business fees for bingo, alcohol sales tax. I'm butchering this, I'm so sorry. So 79% of that is in taxes. And then on this slide, this is our 2023-2024 expense. And this breaks out each department, and you can see our police department, 36% is funded for our police department, 16% for fire, and 12% for streets. Do you have any questions? It's a lot of information. I can probably answer stuff better than I can present it.
Questions for staff?
So can you go back to the first slide, if you can? So you said you didn't move the fund balance. Did we move the money from the capital improvement fund, though?
No, the fund balance is already there. That money, we put that in the September numbers. We, at this time, do not have to move that $285,000 out of the capital improvement fund. And we're sitting at, we estimated that 2024, 2025 fund balance would be at $150,000, and we're like at $180 right now. So we're going to be pretty close to this once all expenses are in.
Okay, thank you.
Further questions? Great job, City Treasurer.
Just a quick question. So could we look at the second one again, just quickly, Nikki? When we look at this, we all realize that sales tax is the majority of income for this city. I just want to say that I think that the biggest exposure that we have to problems with our budget is not the way we're operating at all, but to the potential impact on our income from other competition. And I think that this is coming, and I think we need to think about this somewhat, how it might impact us if, say, our sales tax dips, and I'm specifically talking about another big box store coming in possibly to Kaufman, or not Kaufman, but to our friends Maybank, that would cut into this significantly. So we're looking here at right now, probably the next 2 years, could shape, but I would predict that this pie needs to look differently in year 3 or 4. Thank you.
Point of order, Councilman Foster. I would also say that we are not just sitting in the boat without paddling. We have some really good projects that are on the books right now that are also going to bring in more sales tax revenue. And I understand the competition. I think with the mayor's coalition that we have established, we have a pretty good relationship with all the mayors around here. I'm pretty locked into some of the things that are going on, and I don't really see too much of a threat like that. I think we're going to look at it as an added benefit to a lot of our constituents, but we have a lot of really, really good projects that are on our books also, so we are not just sitting idly by. So I want the citizens to understand that too. Yes, there's always that threat, but we're going to stay in the present, and presently we're doing pretty well. So thank you for that report.
Thank you, Mickey.
Council, as you know, we changed this, so this is a lot of our department heads' first time to present before council.
Moving on. 7B, resolution number R-2024-012. 7B, consider and take action to adopt resolution number R-2024-012, approving an amendment to its Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, contract number CDV21-0086 with the Texas Department of Agriculture. I will read into the record the resolution. Number R-2024-012, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Gun Barrel City, Texas, approving an amendment to its
Resolution will allow that budget to be amended that you heard about at the 2 public hearings to then fund the remaining feet on the project of Longleaf. Wanda Vance is here from Traylor and Associates. If anybody has any questions, you'll remember we did have a public hearing about this at our workshop. We then had a public hearing about this at our last meeting. And this is the final step. So following the public hearing, council is required to pass this resolution. The budget amendment will then go to the Texas Department of Agriculture, and we will be able to bring Prime Excavation back on site to finish that project. So this is just the final step in that very long process to amend the budget for that grant.
questions for staff? Discussion? Do I have a motion?
I move that we adopt resolution number R-2024-012, approving the amendment to the CDBG contract CDV21-0086 with the Texas Department of Agriculture.
Second.
I have a motion from Mr. Burns. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Councilman Foster. I have a vote from my left, please.
Burns, yes.
Evans, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Person, yes.
Boss, yes.
Motion passes. 7C, consider and take action to spend up to $5,000 from the Hotel Motel Fund, Gun Barrel City Quilters Guild 2025 Annual Quilt Show. I'm not going to butcher this, but I will tell you that it is an incredible event. It is the first one I have ever been to. I was fortunate enough to get to judge some of the incredible work that these ladies do. It's an annual thing here, and it's really, really a cool event. So if we can have someone from the Quilters Guild speak to this, please.
Thank you, Mayor, Councilman. I'm Kim Johnson. I'm with the Gun Barrel Quilters Guild. And we are asking for $5,000. This is what we use to be able to rent our venue where we have our quilt show, which is CR Legacy Center. And we offer not only the art that comes with the quilts, but we sell a raffle quilt, and all the proceeds of that go back into the community. We give money to the fire departments, the Gun Barrel and Maybank fire departments, the Maybank Tri-County Library. We do that. It brings in over 600 people a year from all over the country, not just the area. We had a lady last year from Maine that bought tickets to our quilt. And it's just big and good for the city, and we've enjoyed your support, I know, for the last 8 years, because I've been a member that long, and we've been enjoying it, and hope that all of our people in Gun Barrel enjoy it too. Any questions?
Questions, council? It really is a great event. Everyone needs to stop by and check it out. At this point in time, do I have a motion?
I move that we spend up to $5,000 from the Hotel Motel Fund for the Gun Barrel Gelder's Guide 2025 Annual Quilt Show.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Further discussion? If none, we will vote from my left, please.
Burns, yes.
Evans, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Person, yes. Voss, yes.
Motion passes.
Thank
Very
you.
excited. Thank you. 7D, consider and take action to make appointments to the Board of Adjustment. Our sponsor of this item, again, will be our city manager, Dr. Smith.
Council, at our last meeting in September, we had a work session before where we talked about appointments to boards, and then we had the items on the agenda to formally take action. In the process, BOA was left off of making those appointments. It worked out. They didn't necessarily have an October meeting, but we did need to get that on this agenda. In the work session before the meeting, we had Scott Coleman, Sue Alexander, Tiffany Bayless, and Charles Lagon all apply to be on the Board of Adjustments. The consensus from council at the last meeting was to appoint Sue Alexander, Scott Coleman, and Tiffany Bayless as full members, and Charles Lagon as an alternate, as he potentially could be moving in the coming days. We don't know if that's a week or if that's 6 months, but there is, Charles spoke to council and said there is a potential at some point over the next year he would be moving. That way he's in an alternate position. He will still, as you all know, attend meetings. He's just a backup to hear all the cases and to be there in case we do not have a quorum. It allows us to ensure that we have a quorum because BOA meets as needed, not on a regular basis. So that was the consensus from council at the meeting. It was to appoint them each to a seat.
Questions or discussion? Do I have a motion?
I move that we appoint Sue Alexander, Scott Coleman, and Tiffany Bayless as full members and Charles Ligon as an alternate to the BOA.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. A vote from my left, please.
Burns, yes.
Evans, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Person, yes. Voss, yes.
Motion passes. Item number 7E, be a presentation of annual progress report on behalf of the Parks and Recreation Board per section 3405 of the Code of Ordinances. Our sponsor on this will be our city manager, Dr. Smith.
So Section 3405 of the Code of Ordinances specifically calls out Parks Board, and I believe that's because Parks Board was formed at a later date. The charter allows for the formation of a Parks Board, but then there are a lot of very detailed ordinance information about Parks Board. One of the items in 3405 requires the Parks Board to do an annual report to City Council. The Parks Board has been working on this for several months, and I know Shelley Coleman was, she might argue, drew the short straw. I would say gleefully appointed to come up and do that presentation.
Good evening. My name's Shelley Coleman, and I'm here to share some exciting accomplishments that the board has been able to achieve in the past year. I'm sure you've all received the little packets of the things that we've accomplished, but I'm just going to go through and just read what we've done. So far, we've since we started in October of 2023, we've added a new welcome sign and 3 directional signs for the park entrance, for the intersections there. And for the park entrance, we've commissioned and completed 2 murals on the park's bathroom and concession area there. Looks really nice. We've obtained local business sponsorships for Darken the Park in celebration of the solar eclipse that included T-shirt designs that benefited the park board. We've participated in the Halloween trunk or treat event. We've decorated the council's float. That looked really nice, right? For the Christmas parade and handed out treats. July Fest had our board members managing, yay, the kids zone area with water slides to help raise funds for the park board. We've been working on improving the pickleball court, and hopefully we'll be able to get the courts restriped in the next couple months. And we're looking for further funding to improve the courts in the future. Going forward to 2025, we hope to plan a few fundraising events at the park. We'll be installing new disc golf signs for all 18 holes. We're working with the Disc Golf Club to encourage a tournament in 2025. And we're looking into options to resurface the park walking trails. Looking into a gazebo serenity area. That's some of the suggestions, ideas that we're looking into. And these are just a few for the upcoming new year. And we always, if citizens have any suggestions, the board is welcome to any kind of suggestions. That would be very helpful. And I'd also like to thank the city council and the city staff for an outstanding support that you've allowed the park board to make great strides in improving our park. And also I want to give a big shout out to our board, Monica, Gilbert, Foster, Elga, and Renetta. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you. You guys do a wonderful job. All the events this year have been really, really incredible. I know we've gotten great feedback from other mayors and other people in the area. You guys do a wonderful job.
Good, thank you.
Seven F, consider and take action to move November 26, 2024 regular meeting date to November the 19th, 2024 due to the holiday week. Our city manager, Dr. Smith, will speak to this.
So I will go ahead and talk about both of the next two, 7F and 7G. The November meeting would fall the Tuesday of Thanksgiving week, and because we have a lot of council that travel, we are recommending moving that to the Tuesday before, which would be the 19th. And the December meeting would fall on Christmas Eve, and while y'all love me, I'm sure you don't want to spend Christmas Eve with me, so we will move that one to the Tuesday before as well, which is the 17th. So the meeting will happen a little bit earlier, but we will still be able to make it happen, so we won't have any issues. It will fall much like this week where we had to move it due to the holiday. Planning and Zoning and Parks will be the day before on the 18th, and then y'all's meeting, council meeting will be the very next night. The same with the December meeting. So the December meeting will happen the regular night for Planning and Zoning and Parks, and then you all will be moved a week forward.
Questions?
No.
Do I have a motion?
Do we need to make the motion separately for each one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. I move that we move the November 26, 2024 regular council meeting to November 19th, 2024.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Evans, second.
I have a motion and a second. Vote from my left, please.
Burns, yes.
Evans, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Person, yes.
Close, yes.
Motion passes. Motion or discussion for 7G.
I make a motion that we move the December meeting from the 24th to the 17th because of the holiday week.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Evans, second.
I have a motion and a second. Vote from my left, please.
Burns, yes.
Evans, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Burson, yes.
Foster, yes.
Motion passes. Voluntary annexation request. I will now open a public hearing, 7H, regarding a petition requesting voluntary annexation of 7.98 acres located within the extraterritorial jurisdiction, ETJ, of the city. We have someone to speak?
Janet, do we have any requested speakers? We do not, Mayor.
None. We'll now close the public hearing. 7I, consider and take action to approve a service plan for 7.98 acres of proposed annexed property. Speaking on this agenda item will be our City Secretary, Janet Dillard.
Thank you, Mayor. So items 7H and the next two items are all a part of this voluntary annexation process. Annexation is a process that allows property owners to request that their property be brought into the city limits. As I understand it, and on the next slides, you'll see that this property lies in both the city limits and the ETJ. So their request is to annex the back part of their ETJ property into the city limits. And here's kind of a blown-up satellite view. This is Main Street right here. I should use my little clicker. That's Main Street, 198. And then green right here is the property that is in the city. The orange is in the ETJ. So that would be the part that they're trying to annex, or that they're requesting be annexed in. Here's just another view. And again, that property, according to the appraisal district CAD. And then this is kind of an overload of information. Annexations are not so simple. They take time. So here's just a quick overview of the timeline. We received the initial petition in writing requesting annexation. We sent it to the city attorney. And after a couple technical details that were worked out, a service plan was drafted. The service plan was included in your packet, and what this document does is it outlines the services that a city will provide to the annexed area after annexation is complete. So this agreement provides for police protection, fire, emergency medical, solid waste, water, and sewer, and that would be through a third party, of course, street maintenance, and a couple other services. This plan was sent to the requester and accepted on September 6th. And from there, notices, ordinances, and other things were drafted and finalized. And staff has worked very closely with the city attorney to make sure that we have crossed all of our T's and dotted all of our I's, so we don't miss anything. And these items are only the first step in the annexation process. If this is approved, additional publications will be required. Certified copies of the ordinance will need to be sent to multiple departments within the state, the Justice Department, county clerk, secretary. There's an abundance of them. Also, if approved, council will be seeing an amended official city map ordinance, as well as a rezoning ordinance, because as I understand it, this will be, if it is annexed, it will become agriculture zoning district by default. And then from there, we'll determine a zoning. So that'll be coming to you within the next month or two. So a great deal has already been done and completed, and we've learned a lot along the way since this is the first annexation in 10 years that we've done. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions for staff? Great job, Ms. Dillard. Thank you very much. Do I have a motion?
I move that we take action to adopt ordinance number 02024-027, annexing 7.9 acres of property into the city limits and extending the boundary of the city.
This agreement or service plan
sorry.
before the ordinance.
Right, we're on 7I.
Sorry about that, Ken.
Consider to take action to approve a service plan for 7.9 acres of proposed annexed property.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Burns, second.
I have a motion and a second. Vote from my left, please.
Burns, yes.
Evans, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Burson, yes.
Foster, yes.
Motion passes. 7J, consider and take action to adopt ordinance number O-2024-027, annexing 7.98 acres of property into the city limits and extending the boundary of the city.
I move that we take action to adopt ordinance number 02024-027, annexing 7.98 acres of property into the city limits and extending the boundary of the city.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Burns, second.
Mayor, before you
I
call,
will read that into the record.
thank you.
Ordinance number O-2024-027, an ordinance of the City Council for the City of Gun Barrel City, annexing the hereinafter described territory to the City of Gun Barrel City, Texas, and extending the boundary of the city so as to include said hereinafter described territory within the city limits, and granting to said territory and to all future inhabitants all of the rights and the privileges of other citizens, and binding said future inhabitants by all the acts and ordinances of said city. We have a motion and a second. No further discussion. We'll take a vote from my left, please.
Burns, yes.
Evans, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Person, yes.
Lost, yes.
Motion passes. Economic Development, 8A, consider and take action to approve an EDC lease agreement for the property known as 1720 West Main Street, Gun Barrel City, Texas. These are the EDC office and conference room. Speaking on this will be our EDC Director, Dr. Smith.
Council, this is the annual lease agreement that we do each year with the EDC to allow them use of our office space on the end of the building and our conference room. This is a lease that provides about $750 a month to the city. This has been an annual lease up to this point. We made these 3-year leases so they didn't have to be renewed quite so often. There is I believe, a 30-day out in each of the next 2 leases that allows either party to get out if for some reason the EDC moved or the city decided they needed that space, whatever the case may be. But these will, going forward, be 3-year leases. I'm happy to answer any question.
Discussion? Questions?
How long has the EDC been over there, the office, about 10 years?
Ms. Rainey, do you know that answer?
Know something.
Ms. Rainey knows way more than she pretends to know.
Since we moved in 2011, so
13 years.
So this is just every year.
You have been renewing it every year in September or October. This time I had the attorney redo it so that it was a 3-year lease and to be renewed every 3 years. There's really no legal reason for you to have to do it every year. It could be a 10-year lease, but we started out with a 3-year lease and provided a clause in the contract that any party could get out of the lease with 30 days' notice. So,
Any further discussion? If none, I'll ask for a motion.
I move that we approve the EDC lease agreement for the property known as 1720 West Main Street, Gun Barrel City, Texas, EDC office and conference room.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Evans, second.
I have a motion and a second. If no more discussion, we'll ask for a vote from my left, please.
Burns, yes.
Evans, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Person, yes.
Lost, yes.
Motion passes. Staying under Economic Development, 8B, consider and take action to approve a no-cost lease agreement with the Gun Barrel City Economic Development Corporation as related to the property having a legal description of 8.101 acres, abstract 794, G.T. Walters Survey, Mid-Cities Property, Block B, lots 5, 6, and north plot of Lot 7. Speaking on this will also be our EDC Director, Dr. Smith.
this is another lease that we have approved annually with the EDC. This is a no-cost lease. The EDC, in this case, leases us, the city, the property at no cost. And this is the lawnmower track and the property surrounding the lawnmower track, lawnmower racetrack. So just as a side note, our lawnmower racetrack was rated #1 in the state for 2024. Our team takes pride in that. They're very proud of it. I haven't officially made that announcement, but it was announced at the last race that we were picked as the top in the state. So that's saying a lot. Our team puts a lot of effort into it. This, again, will move to a 3-year lease with 30-day out contract if the city chooses, but that way we only have to renew it every 3 years.
Thank you for that. Discussion? Questions?
Well, I think it's been, what, how many years have we been doing the lawnmower races? Do you know?
I do not. Miss Rainey might know.
I might know another one. I'm feeling so confident now. It was right at the end of Gary Boren's term.
Okay.
So I would say 2014 maybe.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Rainey.
And for those of you that don't know what lawnmower racing is, please see Mr. Bond after the meeting. He'd be happy to tell you all about it. We have one on Saturday at 2 o'clock. It is a lot of fun. They do it at the park. It is lawnmowers, and they go as fast as cars. So they have a dirt track, and Mr. Keith Bond would be happy to tell you, or myself would be happy to tell you all about it after the meeting, but there is one on Saturday. There you go.
Okay, all that information. No more questions, no more discussion? Ask for a motion.
I move that we approve a no-cost lease agreement with the Gun Barrel City Economic Development Corporation as related to the property having a legal description of 8.101 acres, abstract 794 GT Walters Survey, Mid-Cities Property Block B, lots 5, 6, and north part of lot 7.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Evans, second.
Have a motion and a second. No further discussion. I'll ask for a vote from my left, please.
Burns, yes.
Evans, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Person, yes.
Voss, yes.
Motion passes. 8C, consider and take action to adopt resolution number R-2024-013, approving a real estate contract between the Gun Barrel City Economic Development Corporation and a Texas nonprofit corporation for the sale and conveyance of an approximately 1.44 acre tract of land situated in the G.T. Walters Survey, abstract number 974. I will read the resolution into the record. Resolution 2024-013, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Gun Barrel City, Texas, approving a real estate sales contract of the Gun Barrel City Economic Development Corporation, a Type B Economic Development Corporation, and a Texas nonprofit corporation, authorizing the execution of a real estate sales contract for the sale and conveyance of an approximately 1.44 acre tract of land situated in the G.T. Walters Survey, abstract number 974, City of Gun Barrel City, Henderson County, Texas, providing a severability clause and providing for an immediate effective date. Our sponsor on this agenda item will again be our EDC Director, Dr. Smith.
Council, as you remember, this is about the third time this item has ended up on our agenda. We've had numerous discussions about it. This is the land at the corner of Church Street and Luther Lane Extension behind Whataburger, and this will finalize the paperwork necessary to sell the land to our local dentist, who will then build a facility there and operate her dental practice and her sleep apnea practice out of that location. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions for staff or discussion? If none, I will ask for a motion.
I move that we adopt resolution number R-2024-013, approving a real estate contract between the Gun Barrel City Economic Development Corporation and a Texas nonprofit corporation for the sale and conveyance of an approximately 1.44 acre tract of land situated in the G.T. Walters Survey, abstract number 974.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Evans, second.
I have a motion and a second. If no further discussion, vote from my left, please.
Burns, yes.
Evans, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Person, yes.
Foster, yes.
Motion passes. Number 9, executive session. 9A, we will convene into an executive session pursuant to Texas Local Government Code 551.074, dealing with personal matters to deliberate the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment duties, discipline, or dismissal of the city manager. Let the record show that we are convening into that session at 7:25. Let the record show that we are reconvening into open session. It is 8:35. There is no action taken at this time in executive session. And nothing else. We will adjourn. Thank you very much. Thank you for your patience.